Believe it or not, one of the most profound experiences, one of the most profound life experiences that I've ever had actually came from an incredibly unexpected place. It came from a guy that honestly, I don't even know if he spoke English, and we never actually spoke face to face. Yet, what he said had a tremendous impact on me and has continued to serve as a source of inspiration and motivation for me for almost a decade. And if you are listening to this right now and you're wondering what this has to do with comics, I want to encourage you to stay tuned because it'll all make sense. Because here at the channel, what I attempt to do is to help people to make sense of comic book collecting by using stories and analogies, things from business, things from my own life to help put comic book collecting in a slightly different context. Because the reality is this. We all experience a lot of things outside of our comic book rooms. We experience things outside of comic book collecting that has an impact on what we do as collectors, that has an impact on who we are as collectors and as people. And I'm going to tie it all up. I'm going to make this all make sense. At least that is my hope. But I had this experience in a gym several years ago. At the time, I had completed a couple of bodybuilding competitions, right? I was an amateur bodybuilder in the NPC, and I was attempting to go pro. I was attempting to become an IFBB pro. And so I'm in the gym and I'm working out. And I can't remember whether it was a good workout or a bad workout, to be honest with you. I was in the gym. I was doing the work that had to be done. And to be completely honest, the gym in many ways for me at this time was a huge salvation because I was going through a lot of things in my personal life, and the gym was a place that I used to go to escape in some respects. I used to zone out, I used to do the work, and I would come out feeling better than when I went in. And this was my salvation in many ways. But I'm in the gym and I'm lifting and I'm between sets and I'm sitting on the bench, and across the way I see two guys lifting. And this is a scene that if you've gone to the gym, you know this scene. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching these two guys lift. One is on the bench press and he is about to press. And his buddy is standing behind him and he is the spotter. He is there to support his friend. And the guy starts lifting. He starts doing his bench press and he's doing his sets. He's doing his reps. He's getting it in. And at one point, his buddy, who is standing behind him, encouraging him to continue pushing, utters the words, I should say, uno más, uno más, uno más. He says this to him, and he's encouraging his buddy to do more, to do one more. And as I watched this scene, not only did the guy that was lifting the weights do one more rep, he was able to crank out two more reps with a little bit of assistance from his buddy, not just verbally, but also supporting the weight. He was able to get two more repetitions in as a result of his buddy verbally supporting him and then also physically supporting him. And as I watched this scene unfold, things started to click for me. For some reason or another, things started to click for me. And as I laid down on my own bench to continue to get my sets and reps in, I began to noodle what it was that I had just seen. I had just witnessed a guy reaching potentially his limit, reaching his perceived limit of what he was physically capable of doing. And through motivation from someone else, he was able to get a few more reps, right? He verbally and physically able to crank out a couple of more reps. And as I continued to kind of noodle this, getting my own reps in, I began to honestly say to myself, one more, just do one more, right? I was being my own coach and pushing myself. Now, why is this important? This is important because in so many ways, we all have these preconceived notions of our limitations, whether they be physical or mental limitations, where we feel like we have reached the end of what we are capable of doing. But with a little bit of assistance, with a little bit of encouragement, either internally or externally, we might actually be able to push beyond those limits that we put in place for ourselves. And over time, what I've come to realize is that when it comes to physical things, in many respects, the limits that we have are not physical limits. They are actually mental limits that we put in place where we think we cannot do something. Therefore, we are unable to do that thing because we've said, I can't do that. I can't lift that. I can't push that. I can't do this. I can't do that. We are creating a box for ourselves that we cannot break out of. But with a little bit of encouragement, either internally or externally, believe it or not, we can actually break through those limits that we create for ourselves. And I've actually touched on this concept before in other videos where I've said, if you believe that you won't have that grail or that key, you are right. You are spot on that you won't do it because you have decided that it's not possible for you to do it. Now, in those videos that I've done, people have always said, well, I want Batman 1 or Superman 1, right? So let's be realistic about some things, right? I'm not saying that all things are possible through a little bit of mental willpower, but what I am suggesting is that there are things that we can all accomplish if we truly want those things, and if we push ourselves, and if we come up with a plan for how to execute it, we can make a lot of things happen for ourselves, right? We can do a lot more than what we think that we are capable of doing. And the question becomes, are you setting goals for yourself? Are you putting plans in place for you to be able to reach those objectives that you have for yourself? Are you going after goals and objectives that are realistic? But this moment in the gym has continued to serve as a source of inspiration for me, because if I'm creating content, I will say to myself, let's do one more video. Let's do one more brainstorming activity. Let's flesh out one more video idea, right? Let's go to one more comic shop. Let's go through one more bin. Let's do one more, just a little bit more, because the reality is that by doing a little bit more, by pushing a little bit beyond what our preconceived limitations are for ourselves, we're actually going to, over time, do more and more and more. We're going to do more than everyone else who does not push through those limits, right? If you are a creator out there and you're brainstorming ideas, or if you're drawing and inking and coloring pages, do one more. Outwork the competition. If you are out there hunting for comics, go to one more comic shop, go through one more bin, make one more visit, go to one more place that you've never gone to before, because again, you potentially will push beyond your own limits, and over time outwork anybody else that is out there that is stopping short of what their actual potential is. Uno más, one more. This mantra has served me incredibly well in so many different respects, both professionally and personally. It has served me incredibly well, and that is why I wanted to record this for you all, with the hope that something that I've said, something that I've uttered from this experience that I had many years ago will actually serve you well in some capacity. As always, if you guys want to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.